Good morning, family. Amen. It is definitely a privilege to be here. Before I even get into a lot of introductory matters, let me just say that God is good. And His mercies are everlasting. I don't know how you feel about it, but I am mighty thankful to God for His mercies in my life, those small and big, because I appreciate, I realize, and I recognize that He didn't have to do any of it. And so I'm thankful to God that He did anyway. And so, like Paul in 1 Timothy 1 and verse 17, Brother Wendell used a lot of scriptures that are going to come in my message. That's fine. It just means that we are more familiar with it. And Paul said in 1 Timothy 1 and verse 17, now unto the King eternal, immortal, invisible, the only wise God, be glory now and forever. Amen. I want to thank Brother Wendell for some mighty kind words of introduction. I want to thank you for allowing me to stand here just as a servant to proclaim the one man that truly matters. Before we get into our text, can you hear me at the back? Before we get into our text, I want us to appreciate that there are many ways you and I can walk from one point to another. As we walk, we can walk quickly, we can walk slowly, we can walk with a cane. Some of us walk with a hop, some of us walk with a drop. Some of us walk as if we're in a hurry and we're going nowhere. There are many ways that we can walk. Are you with me, church? Paul, as we look at the text, is going to say that there are many ways that you and I can live the life that we are living right now. We can live it carefully. We can live life recklessly. We can live life quickly, and some are doing that and dying. We can live life slowly. There are many ways that we can live life, but Paul is going to show us there is only one way that we should live, and that's a wise way. And so my lesson this morning is entitled, A Better Way to Walk. There are many ways we can walk, but I want us to look at a better way. Paul, as he begins his discourse in Ephesians 5 and verse 15, does not actually start it here. If you look at verse 1, you will realize he begins by saying, be ye imitators or followers of God. Verse 2 tells us to walk in love, as Christ has also walked in love and made himself a sacrifice for us. He continued this theme from actually Ephesians chapter 4 and verse 1. If you turn there, he says, I therefore, the prisoner of the Lord, beseech you that you walk worthy of the vocation with which you are called. So from chapter 4 verse 1, we have this impression, this idea of walking a particular way. But if you and I are to really walk worthy of the vocation with which we are called, we need to give attention to our lives. Is that alright? And so, as we look at verse 15 in our text, we're going to see that Paul says that there is a wise way to walk. He says we should walk circumspectly, not as fools, but as wise. And as he paints this picture, I want to put an image in your head. We all walk, so it should be familiar to us. However, many of us, I know you have tried this when you were younger, you may not want to admit it now, but many of us at one point or the other in our life have seen a line on the road or wherever we are walking, or we have found ourselves on a ledge and tried to walk it perfectly. Are you with me, church? One step in front of the other, trying to maintain a straight line. You're all looking at me strange like you never practiced it. I am sure that some of us did. That's the idea that Paul is saying here. He says, pay attention to your walk. And when we are doing this work, most of the time, our mindset is to ensure that we keep a straight line. So we focus on keeping our balance, and we focus on walking a straight line. When Paul says, see that you walk circumspectly, he's saying, pay attention to your walk. Don't just walk casually, but notice the steps that you are making. take careful steps and walk a straight line. He continues to say, not as fools. We deal with the fools in a bit. But as wise. When he speaks to being wise, as you walk on that straight line, you're going to pay attention to anything that is in your way. And as you come across an obstacle, you treat with it accordingly. You may step over it, you may even match it, or you may have to stop your walk. Are you with me? And so Paul is saying, as you walk, you need to be wise in how you do it. Whatever you come across, you need to do it diligently. And he lists three things, and I'm going to tell you those three things that he lists. And I'm going to tell you it again, and then tell you what I told you. The first thing he lists is that we need to, as we walk this Christian life, we need to redeem the time, because the days are evil. The second thing he says is, do not be foolish, but understand what the will of the Lord is. And the third thing he says is, do not be drunk with wine, but rather be filled with the Spirit. So let's look at the third point. It says, redeem the time, because the days are evil. As we look at this word, redeem, you would realize that it means to buy up for yourself. However, I've come to realize as much as I've tried, I cannot buy or own time. So what Paul is actually telling me is that I need to make the most of the time that I have. Are you with me, church? Amen. I need to make the most of the time that I have. Time is a precious commodity. In fact, I do not believe that there is anything more precious than time, because as time passes, the time that has been spent cannot be returned. And so Paul says, I need to buy up my time. I need to make the most use of it, because time is precious. The question is, how do we buy up time? When you look at a day, many of us in a day take out some time that we call quality time for ourselves. You're also looking at me funny. But I know that in my day, at least, after working and after spending hours doing several things, I want to take some time for myself, some time for my family, and we normally call that quality time. What Paul is saying is that our time itself, our days, should be quality days, not just a part of the day. Do you get that, church? Our whole day should be a quality day, and because it is a quality day, we should make the most out of it. As you redeem the time, or as you seek to buy up time for yourself, it means that you need to place some priorities on the things that you do and the things that are important or not so important. Are you with me? As I buy up time, I realize that probably that extra hour in front of the TV is not the wisest thing. Don't tell me the stones until after the message. I may realize that I could better use my time. Bible study in the week, anybody? Making it early for Bible study on a Sunday morning is the good use of my time. And as I'm on that topic, it's not on the script. But if I'm making good use of my time and I realize that Sunday is the appointed time to be here, and in La Romaine, the appointed time I see on the board is 9 a.m., it means that I am doing everything within my power before Sunday to make it here tonight. That's good use of my time. That's redeeming my time, because I realize time is precious and it matters what I do with it. And so when we see time, not just a part of our day, but all of our day, as quality time, it should influence how we spend our days and what we do with our time. For an analogy, I don't have much money, but I know we understand the analogy all the same. If I were to give Brother Wendell this $1, and I told him that from this Sunday and every other Sunday following, I'm going to give him $1. It is his responsibility now to see how he spends that money. Are you with me, church? And he has to bear at the back of his mind that that dollar needs to last him from now until next day, which is next Sunday. And because of that, it influences how he chooses to spend the money. He may decide not to buy those Zimmerman after all because it may take all of his money. Knowing that this dollar is all he has until an appointed time, it places him in a position to better manage that money. We need to realize that time is not ours. The time we have, I like to use the term explain to us that we are on borrowed time. We have no idea how long our borrowed time is, and so we should realize because time is not ours, we are just operating on borrowed time, we should make the very best use of what we have. If we appreciate that, then you'll find a lot less idle Christians walking around. Within the time is part of our wise walk. Seeking to walk wisely requires that you and I pay attention to how we prioritize and use time, knowing that time that passes can never be redeemed. But not only does the wise walk require us redeeming the time, it also requires that we understand what the will of the Lord is. As you look with me at verse number 17 of Ephesians chapter 5, it says, "So then, do not be foolish, but understand what the will of the Lord is." Understanding in this text is not so much as knowing, but it is a knowledge that influences what you do and how you do it. Paul is saying, knowing the stuff that you know, you should act differently. Have you ever looked at someone and said to yourself, after seeing them commit an act, that they should have known better? As Paul is saying, you and I, being Christians, we are seeking to walk within the education with the old. We are seeking to walk a better and a wiser way, and we should know better. And in knowing that is the influence of a walk, he's saying that that knowledge comes from understanding what the will of the Lord is. Let's gain that analogy somewhere. If you look at John chapter 4 and verse 10, Jesus is going to speak to a woman at the well in Samaria. And as he speaks to this woman in the 10th verse of John chapter 4, as they were discussing, he tells her, if you knew the power of God and you know who it was that was speaking to you, you will ask of him for living water that you may never drink. The premise that Jesus is making here, if this woman knew who she was talking to, then her words would be different and her actions would be different. Paul is saying when we understand the will of the Lord, our walk is going to be different. Different than what? Different than those who walk foolishly. Let's deal with the foolish people. He's not saying a foolish person is what we may call a fool. A fool in this text is just someone who does not know better. It's what Paul would call ignorant. Ignorance simply means that person is unaware. For instance, La Romaine is not my hometown, and so I am not too familiar with the road. Sometime last year, I believe, I came to pick up this good brother at his house. But Nick, if you can't see who I'm touching, came to pick him up at his house, and coming down that road in a car, I didn't realize that it wasn't pitched. I took the corner a little too quickly. And before I know it, I was in a pothole. And the car felt like it was on a trampoline. It just went down and up, down and up. But that happened because I did not know where I was going. And so because I did not know, I couldn't walk, or in this case, drive accordingly. Are you getting this, church? Paul is saying when we understand, when we find ourselves knowing what is the will of God. We'll discuss that in a bit. You find yourself walking differently, walking accordingly because you should know better. The will of the Lord is simply what pleases Him. And the only way for you to find out the will of God is in the pages of divine inspiration. And so Paul is telling us that we need to spend just a little more time in the good book to find out what God's good pleasure is. Yeah. No, he was speaking to the church at Philippi, Philippians chapter 1, he told them all, we tell them with time that we will love them to grow in love, to abound more in love, but also in knowledge and in judgment. By the time he reaches down to verse 9, he says that by doing this, you will prove what is that acceptable and good thing of God. Romans 12, you already know that verse by heart. 1 and 2, he says, I beseech you, therefore, brethren, by the mercy of God, present your bodies a living sacrifice, holy and acceptable unto God, which is your reasonable service. Verse 2 is very much important. And be not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. Watch this, that you may prove what is that good and acceptable and perfect will of God. That only comes when we find ourselves in the book. So Paul is actually calling us to some good old Bible study. Not just on a Wednesday or Sunday morning, but if we need to walk this life, and we are to walk this life circumspectly, if we are to walk this wisely, we need to spend some time in the book, because only in the book can I find out what is God's will and walk accordingly. The problem is, many of us don't know God's will and we try to impose our own will and that cause disapproval. I'll explain. Many of us, instead of consulting God first, we consult Him after we consult ourselves. We make the decision and then we pray, God, this is where my heart is at, could you lead me to this? There was this guy I know, actually I don't know, it was a story of this guy that someone, he was having some problems in his life and he decided every morning before he goes to work, he's going to stop at the church building to pray. Spend some quality time talking to God. Nothing wrong in that. And Monday he came, and as he was leaving, there was a beautiful lady coming in as he was going out. Tuesday he prayed. As he was leaving, there was a beautiful lady coming in at the same time. Wednesday the same thing. Thursday the same thing. And so by Friday he realized that this lady also had a habit of coming in at a particular time. And he looked at the lady and realized that she would make a good wife. I don't know what he saw, but he thought she would make a good wife. And he decided in and of himself that I'm going to marry this woman. And so he formulated a plan. He decided on Friday he's going to pray closer to the door. And about the time that she would come in. And so he got by the door, he began his prayer, he said, Father, you know the troubles I've been in. I thank you for delivering me. You also know that I want a wife. I'm asking you that you lead a wife to me. I'm also praying, God, that as soon as I open my eyes, the woman that I see is the one that you have sent for me. Amen. And then he ended his prayer. As soon as he opened his eyes, sure enough, a woman was standing in front of him. But as he looked up, he realized it wasn't the woman he was thinking of. There was this senior, elderly woman, and she was smiling and swaying back and forth. Then he said to him, honey, God has answered your prayers this morning. So many of us are just like this guy, that we already determine how we want to walk, where we want to walk, and we want God to sign off on it. What Paul is saying is that we need to understand what pleases God, what is His will, what is His wish for our lives, and we need to walk in it. Understanding what the will of the Lord is. There is no wisdom, church, in our walk if we don't seek to understand what God will have us to do, or what pleases God. And I want to say that the will of the Lord, the will of Christ, is like a compass that keeps us walking in the right direction. His will allows us to know not just how we should walk, the way we should walk. I'm walking in La Romaine again. and I don't know the area. And I'm looking for a particular shop down the road, and I just decide I'm going to head in any direction without consulting someone who actually lives in the area I know. Sure enough, I might get lost before I find that shop. Consulting someone helps you keep on course. If you're writing and you're in unfamiliar territory, normally the husband will have a hard time to do it, but the wife lasts long enough so that he stops by long class and asks someone, do you know with such and such a places? You do that because you want to ensure that you are on the right path. For our Christian walk, if you want to ensure that you are on the right path and that you are walking wisely, you need to ensure that you're consulting. Only in this will you find the will of God. Thirdly, if we are determined to walk wisely, not only do we redeem our time, make most of it, not only do we understand the Lord's will for us, but He says that we are filled, or we should be filled with the Spirit. Before He tells us to be filled with His Spirit, He was speaking to the church in Ephesus, and He says, do not be drunk with wine, wherein is excess. The church at Ephesus was at the heart of a city of immorality. As you turn every which way, you will find that people are given to worshiping idols. And part of their worship services were drunkenness and several other things. And these activities were the norm in this city. People believed that this was the way to live. However, Paul contrasts the immorality of Ephesus with the way the Christian is supposed to walk. That is when we are filled or teach to be filled with the Spirit and by the Spirit. As we look at verse 16, he says, we redeem the time because the days are evil. Am I right? Now verse 18 says, do not be drunk with wine wherein is excess. Or this word excess literally speaks to immorality, recklessness. Says that these things just lead to recklessness. And as you look at the life around you, you know, I have stopped listening to the news. It's very depressing. After coming home from work, 8-9 hours, tired, they turn on the TV and say that they kill 2 more, or they arguing over Section 34, or everything else. You know, I have on my script right here, don't mention anything politics. But after hearing all these depressing things that can get to you, Paul is saying, as you look around, everybody is living whichever way pleases them. But that is not how we ought to live. The man in the bar sells alcohol, fills him up. The man who does drugs, sells whatever drugs he does, fills him up and leaves him on a high. I've realized that Paul says the same thing, but our high is more natural. It comes from the Spirit of God. Well, there's something that I want to demonstrate, and I'll ask for the Wendell's indulgence because I realize many of us may not be able to see if I do it on the table. I asked him beforehand to get me a glass. I was to walk with one and I forgot, and he was so kind that he got me a clear glass. And I took the privilege of walking with my own water. I'm not sure, you know, water doesn't treat us kind going up north, so I'm not sure it treats you down south. So I walked with my own water. I'm going back for the Wendell, if you will, to uncover this water and fill my glass. And as he does that, I'm going to explain something. What Paul is saying is that you and I should be empty cups. And as we are empty cups, we shouldn't allow the society around us to influence us and fill us with negative stuff. What he is saying is that we should not only seek to make the best of our time, we should not only seek to understand the will of God, but we should allow the Spirit of God to fill our cup. And as he fills this cup, what he is doing as he slowly fills it, he is actually making less room. So let me bring my good brother. He is making less room for anything else to get in. Can you see that, church? Now that I have a filled cup, thank you, brother, it is difficult for me to put coffee inside here. It's difficult for me to put anything inside here because this cup is occupied. This cup is filled. That's what Paul is saying. He says, allow the Spirit of God to fill your cup, that you have no need to look at the immorality on the outside. You have no need to allow it to get to you, or even on the inside. I'm going to come back to this last little bit. When you fill your cup on good stuff, you are not thrown off. Because I'm filled, I said we're like a cup, think about a sponge. I'm like a sponge. This rag is a sponge right now, and he's almost out of sponginess. But as a sponge, you absorb until there's nothing more to absorb. That's what he's saying. As a cup or as a sponge, you are allowing God's Spirit to fill you with goodness, with a good influence, to lead you as it will in the path of righteousness. And by doing that, you are not thrown off your course. But I want us to see something. From time to time, our cup may run a little. When that happens, you just need to refuel on some good old Holy Spirit business. The word filled here doesn't just mean to fill once, but a continuous action of being filled repetitiously. Because if my cup runs low, it means I have an occasion or opportunity for something negative to get inside here and throw me off course. And so from the time you see my cup runs low, I should be eager to fill it back up. You know, there are some men I know who drive vehicles, and they have a hard time seeing that needle come up at. From the time it leaves at the gas station. You know, I was speaking to one day, he says, boy, the needle has to move a long way before I go back to the gas station. No, guess why? He uses premium. But that's the mentality that we have. We are filled by God's Spirit. And from the time we use what the Spirit has given us, the encouragement, the strength that God has given us through the Spirit, from the time we use that and we realize our wheels may be running a little low and it's time to top up. But there's something else in that text that I want you to see. If the Spirit influences me, if the Spirit fills me, there's naturally something that comes out of it. I'll explain. Verse 19 to 21, if you look at it, is actually a reflexive action or response, rather to the Spirit filling you. It says, now that you are filled with the Spirit, it's easier for you to speak to yourselves in psalms and hymns and spiritual songs. It's easier for you to sing and make melody in your heart unto the Lord. It's easier for you to give God all the honor, glory, and thanks that He deserves. But that comes after you allow the Spirit to fill your cup. Are you with me, church? It comes naturally. Now I want you to see this and picture this in your mind. If the Spirit fills your cup and you are able to do these things, it means that the Spirit not only satisfies you, but it completes you. Oh no, you missed that. Spirit fills your cup. And that cup is filled. If I were to drink the content, I will be satisfied. And because I am satisfied, I am in a position to say thank you. Because I am satisfied, I am able to sing and be happy. That water quenches my thirst, it rehydrates my mouth, and so I can sing a little longer. The water, sometimes, it may fill a hole in your stomach, and you feel full just for a short time. Water does that. You don't look at me funny yet. Water does that. You drink some water and it hits the spot and it satisfies you. Not only quenches your thirst, but it fills you for a little bit. And you're in a position of joyousness. You're in a position to give thanks. What Paul is saying here, as you look at verse 19 to 21, all these things that we do are a direct result of the Spirit filling us up. I normally use it as a good measurement to find out how many Christians need to come up for more. He is first to you. This should be a part of you naturally. I don't need to wait on Sunday to sing and be happy. I don't need to wait for Bible class to thank God for His goodness in my life. I don't need to wait for when the church assembles to be submissive to God and His will. I am this way because I am filled with the Spirit. What you see on Sunday, or what you should see on Sunday, is a continuation of that expression that happened all week because of the Spirit filling. So when I can stand, I see someone not singing or singing like, you know what, God wasn't with them this week. It's an indication that they didn't fill their cup. And you with me, church, you're looking at me funny. Wait, Holy Spirit, until after the message. If someone has a hard time to thank God for His goodness because your cup isn't filled. See, when you come in here, it's also not the script. When you come into the assembly, you should come for two reasons. It's to praise God for who He is, because He is God all by Himself. But it's also to thank Him for what He has done, what He is doing, and in faith, what you know He's still yet to do. So you come here with that mindset, but you can only have that mindset if you are allowing the Spirit to influence and fill you daily. And so Paul says that if we want to walk wisely, if we want to live a better life, we can't find ourselves just living it as we please, recklessly, vicariously, if you will. But we need to walk where we redeem our time, make the most of our opportunities. We need to walk a walk where we find ourselves in God's word so we can find out what is His good pleasure and will towards us, and we can walk therein. Remember that analogy of walking on a straight line or an edge. This is what you are trying to accomplish. Straight line, and you are just trying to maintain the course. Now the first few steps that you take is something else in that word wise that Paul mentioned in verse 15 that we're going to get to now. The first few steps you take on that ledge, you're trying to balance yourself to make sure you have to walk right. Are you with me? But then after a while you get it, and you may pick up your step and walk just a little bit faster because you got the hang of it. The word wise that was used in verse 15 when it says that we walk circumspectly, not as fools but as wise, doesn't just mean to know and understand what you're doing, doesn't just mean to be fully aware of what you're doing, but to become skillful at it, to become an expert. We need to become expert walkers. As children, we began creeping, we began walking, and as we were walking, took baby steps. And then eventually we were able to graduate from baby steps to close to adult steps. And then we began running. And now we could walk, run, jog without even thinking about it. Paul is saying that our walk should be the same thing, not just our physical walk, but our spiritual walk. We start off paying careful attention to how we walk, to walking that line. But practice makes habit, not just do it. Practice makes habit. And because I get accustomed to it, it makes it easier for me to maintain that walk. And I become skillful at walking this way. I become an expert at this walk. And so he's telling us at the beginning of verse 15 that we need to pay attention, pretend to how you walk, but we need to move ourselves from a point where we are still walking gingerly as Christians to where we have this walk down pat. It should be easier for us as the days go by to walk as we're supposed to. You know, we sing a song that's akin to this. We say that we keep falling in love with Him over and over again. He gets sweeter and sweeter as the days go by. Just as your love, and we understand that every day your love for Christ reaches a new high, your walk should also reach a new high where you are walking more comfortably, you are walking boldly, you are taking steps and strides with confidence because you're doing this skillfully now. You've done it for a while. So Paul says, live wisely. Redeem the time. Understand what the will of the Lord is. And be filled with His Spirit. As I conclude, I want to say that you and I could live any way we choose. That's an opportunity that we have to live any way that we choose. But there is a better and wiser way to walk as Christians. Make the most opportunities. Make the most of your opportunities, rather. Make the most of your time. Don't spend your time idly or recklessly. Walk where you are led and directed by the will of God, and that can only happen when you spend more time with His will. And maintain your course through the influence of the Holy Spirit. It is the better and wiser way. And so I want to ask, as you look at your Christian walk now, is this a right walk? Are you walking worthy of the name that you wear? And is there room to improvement in your walk? There's no time like the present. If you realize that we are not walking as Paul said, worthy of the vocation with which we are called in Ephesians 4 verse 4, now is the time to make steps in the right direction. Walk carefully while together we stand and sing our victory.